Are we in a bear market, or is institutions just trying to shake out the weak hands so that they can fill their bags for cheap? In this video, we're going to be uncovering that. Spoiler alert, I think it's the latter. There's never been a bull market where we haven't seen Ethereum soar past its all-time highs, and we have all this regulation. We have increase in liquidity from central banks with cutting rates. It's just that these tariffs and the government shutdown have put a hinder on things. But let's go over some things here. Let's hop straight into it. When we look at the crypto fear and greed index, we're at peak fear. Well, we can be a little bit more fearful, but we're deep in the fear territory. And it's good to buy during times like this, right? Nothing's fundamentally wrong with the technology, right? And like I said, liquidity needs to find a home. And stock market's at all-time high, gold's near all-time high. Crypto is the best looking investment. We have regulations setting up. We have everything is in place. Okay, so just to go over a few things here. So we got a lot of fear here. We're super far from an altcoin season. Haven't had a proper altcoin season yet. And if we look at the crypto ETFs, we've had mostly outflows pretty much since October, right? Since October 26th. It's been mainly outflows. We got a little tick up today, but guys, remember, we're still in Q4, and it's not uncommon for the market to have huge drops during bull markets. Let's look at some charts here. So the central bank balance sheet is flattening out. We've been talking about this for the past few months. M2 money supply is still going up. Guys, when liquidity is increasing, where else is it gonna go? Right? We're not gonna just go into US treasuries because they know they're gonna print more money. So people are gonna wanna get a return that is better than the inflation rate. And we know with the Genius Act and everything, if you've been watching my past videos, is going to be inflationary for the dollar, right? We have gold, which is supposed to be a safe haven. Smart money isn't going to be buying gold at all-time high levels like that. Like, look at this. This is just a hockey stick going straight up here pretty much. We got the S&P 500 consolidating near all-time high levels. We got the Dow Jones Industrial Average consolidating near all-time high levels. We got the NASDAQ consolidating near all-time high levels. And we have Apple at all-time highs, consolidating at all-time highs. But the crypto market has been struggling. We got Bitcoin at 87. I wouldn't be surprised if we go back down here to 75. But the important thing in crypto is something called liquidity pockets. There has been billions of dollars in liquidations. But the exchanges, with how things are now, they're going to make more money by liquidating the shorts. So many people were shorting Bitcoin because it was dropping, and now most of those shorts got liquidated. So now there's more of an incentive for exchanges for the prices to go up, right? And if we look at this, Bitcoin's, we've had drops like this on its way up, right? If we look here from top to bottom, we saw Bitcoin drop 31%, just for it to go up and rally over 63% to put in a new all-time high. And now we dropped down 36%. Right now we're down 30%. Guys, this is not something new. We can easily see something like this. Like, we're still in the channel. We haven't put in a lower low, right? We haven't came back down here. But like I said, with everything that's happening in the economy, I would be surprised if this is a bear market. If we look at ETH is down pretty bad as well, down to 2,857, right? But we're still on this trend line that we've been on since 2022. We have broke it in the past, but we shot right back up. So honestly, I'm not worried. I'm just using this as a good potential buying opportunity, and it's good to always have some cash on the sidelines. No one was able to predict a government shutdown, the longest government shutdown we've had in history, as well as everything happening with the tariffs in China. So before I talk about some of the biggest news that I've seen since I've been a part of crypto, I want to talk about something that's really important. You have all these companies and institutions building products around crypto, right? And when they launch them is really, really important, especially the bigger they are and they're in cahoots with regulators. Launching a product is it's like building a NASCAR. It's like building a car for a NASCAR race. You build the car, you keep it in the garage, you work on it. You might take it to a testing track, but you don't showcase that and release it to the world until it's ready for the race where all eyes are on the car. All right. It's the same thing when you're buying it, when you're building a crypto project. You're not going to release it in the bear market, right? You're going to build in the bear, right? You're going to be building in the bear, and then you're going to release your initiative when you have all eyes on it, or when you anticipate that you're going to have all eyes on it. Just like in NASCAR, they don't build the NASCAR and then use it to go grocery shopping. You know what I mean? They're waiting for the race. So a couple of things. Aave just launched their mobile app. And just to give you an idea on Aave, they are the top protocol in all of DeFi. They've been in cahoots with regulators for years. It's no secret. They have $30.5 billion in total value locked. even with a 19% decrease in the past month. And they just released their mobile app, right? Why would they release a mobile app when they think the bear market's going to come, where they know people aren't going to use it? They want to showcase it when they're anticipating volume. Okay, that's just one thing. Guys, this is the most significant piece of crypto news that I've ever seen in all my years of crypto since 2017. I think it's the most important, significant news in crypto ever, okay? JP Morgan just launched their USD stablecoin, right? And if you haven't known, Jamie Dimon has always said, oh, blockchain, not Bitcoin. If anyone at my bank buys Bitcoin, I'll fire them. He was even like ranting at his daughter for wanting to buy it, even though JP Morgan has investment funds offshore that's been buying Bitcoin for years, but that's a whole nother story. Watch what they do, not what they say. Before I even talk about why this is so significant, let me just give you a super brief history on JP Morgan without going too deep. So JP Morgan stands for James Pierpont Morgan. This was an individual person, and he was like the Federal Reserve before the Federal Reserve was created. So America was falling, and they actually called James Pierpont Morgan to help bail out the United States. And he did it, but he was like, hey, MFs, I'm gonna bail you guys out, but we need to set up an institution that could do this so that I don't have to, because he was getting old. He wanted to retire and just sail on his boat, sail off to the sunset. He was rich, and you can't really blame him. So he actually helped set up the Federal Reserve. JP Morgan helped set up the Federal Reserve. If it wasn't for JP Morgan, we would not have a Federal Reserve, at least in this capacity. Okay, and the Federal Reserve was set up to be a lender of last resort, meaning if a bank was going insolvent and they're too big to fail, the central bank can slide through and save them, basically. They say their two most important things is to maximize employment and minimize inflation, but that's their number one, to be the lender of last resort. So he bailed out the United States with a lot of money back then. I don't know what it translates to today. Why would he do that? To get favors, right? And I think one of them favors just kicked in with this stablecoin. I'm going to talk about it. So they launched their stablecoin, and guess what? They're launching on the Base network, Coinbase's blockchain, their L2, which is built on Ethereum. And you guys think Ethereum is just done? Why would JP Morgan launch this now? Right now, it's only for institutional clients, as you see here. And I think, in my opinion, it only makes sense. They're like, okay, we know it's going to be a wave of buying here. How stablecoins work is they make money off the transaction fees, so JP Morgan does benefit off of this monetarily. They're getting their institutional clients set up to be able to invest billions of dollars into crypto. And if we go back here to chains, Base is number 6 in all of DeFi with $4.1 billion in total value locked, but they're number 1 in terms of L2s. Ethereum and Solana and Binance Smart Chain is a layer 1. Bitcoin is a layer 1. Tron is a layer 1. Base is the top L2 in terms of TVL, right in front of Arbitrum. So guys, they're basically forcing people to adopt and use Coinbase's Base network. Guys, we have an All Eyes on Base DeFi show on this channel. Just click playlist and you'll see them. We have 13 episodes out right now as of this recording. And we cover everything, why it exists, how it works, literally everything. Guys, this is huge. Like I said, they said they're not going to go on another layer 1 or layer 2. They're going to be on Base. Coinbase already announced, this is give you a view into my crystal ball. I'm going to dive into this more. We're about to see a lot of buying volume, a lot. And Base's TVL is going to go to billions. It might go to 10, 20 billion this cycle or more. You never know. But it's a lot of liquidity. This is proof of it. That's about to come onto the Base network. Base also announced that they're going to do an airdrop, aka free money to people who use the network to whatever capacity that they deem by their in-house metrics. So amount of money you have on Base network, how long you've been using it, what protocols you've been using, etc. It's going to be a multitude of things. And I know we're going to get a fat airdrop because I've been doing DeFi on the Base network for 3 years. Okay. So here's another important thing. We have the Clarity Act about to pass. If it wasn't for the government shutdown, it probably would have passed already. And it draws the line in the sand on what makes a token a commodity and a security. So now institutions, the ones that have a stable coin with JP Morgan, have a clear framework on which tokens they can legally buy. Guys, this is huge. This is not some small news. This is not hype. This is huge. Okay? Once the Clarity Act passes, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. Next year, The Coinbase are going to launch their token, and then I think that's probably going to be the top, if I'm being honest. Coinbase is not going to launch their token in the bear market, right? And JP Morgan is not going to launch their token in the bear market as well. And remember, Coinbase is trusted by everyone. They're the largest custodian of the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, including BlackRock. BlackRock trusts Coinbase with their money. Now JP Morgan is trusting their blockchain. They're also the top when it comes to being a ETH validator, meaning people send their money to Coinbase to stake on the ETH 2.0 beacon chain. They're the first company to go public, crypto company to go public, and then Circle is the second, which is partly owned by Coinbase and incubated by Coinbase. Okay. So guys, this is about to be a crazy bull market. JP Morgan could have launched this stablecoin last cycle. They have access to trillions of dollars and the best investors. Now, going back to James Pierpont Morgan and why he bailed it out for favors. If we go to whitehouse.gov, we had the Genius Act that passed that allows banks to issue their own stablecoins, but it requires a 100% reserve backing with liquid assets such as US dollars or short-term US treasuries, and it requires issuers to make monthly public disclosures of the composition of reserves. So they have the stablecoins, according to the Genius Act, a bill that passed, has to be backed with US treasuries and dollars for all stablecoins. Okay, so you got that. So if we look on Yahoo Finance, it says here, unlike stablecoins, which this is, which are privately issued and backed by external reserves such as US treasuries and cash, JP Morgan's deposit tokens represents money already held as deposits within the bank, effectively a blockchain-based version of commercial bank money. It carries the same claim on the bank as traditional account balance, but remains available only to institutional clients while regulators review its broader use. So guys, it's saying right here, talking about favors, JP Morgan is launched a stablecoin that is outside of the legal framework of the Genius Act, and it's totally okay. It's totally okay. Why they decided to not have it backed with US treasuries and cash is because, like it says here, it wants to be backed by money already held in its deposits within the bank. So whatever assets they have, good or bad, they don't want to have to be forced to buy US treasuries like everyone else. Guys, JP Morgan and the Federal Reserve are like this. They're basically the same entity. So this says a lot. If that's not crazy to you, I don't know what is. Like, they're literally operating outside of what the legal framework is. And this is going to allow them to make more money and be a lot more competitive. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to have the only stable coin that is yield bearing. Meaning, so there's something else in the Genius Act that doesn't allow banks to issue like yield on the stable coin, meaning just by holding the stable coin, it's almost like a savings account or a checking account where you get paid interest. You just leave your money in a checking account, you accumulate interest. But stable coins, you're not going to be able to just hold a stable coin and it accrue interest. I'm willing to bet that JP Morgan's going to do it, and they're going to wipe out all the other stable coins. And I'm writing an article right now, and I made a video, I just have to edit it, on why I think the Genius Act is just a Trojan horse for a central bank and digital currency. The same thing happened during the early 1800s when America was being discovered. You had all these different banks launching their own different forms of dollar currency. You had black markets rising because you go to a bank in Virginia, make a deposit, go on vacation in California, and you try to buy something. They're like, I don't even know if this bank's going to fail. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this back. So instead of it being $10, it's $20 because you have to pay for just in case that bank failed. They raised taxes. There was the Coinage Act, Supreme Court cases, and a lot of these banks failed. The currencies went away. People lost money, and it's a thing with the government. They like to create a problem so that they can come in and play hero and provide a solution. So when people are losing all this money, everyone's asking like, oh, can we just have one form of currency, please? Hey, what about this US dollar, right? Now, here we go again. All these banks are going to be able to issue their own forms of stable coins, just like back in the day. Each bank had its own version of the dollar. Each bank's going to have their own stable coin. They know that stablecoin is crypto's killer app, and they make lots of money, right? In addition to it being inflationary, it's going to make them a lot of money. So what does that mean? That means all these banks are rushing, trying to get their stablecoin ready as fast as possible. And you know what's going to happen? Some of them are going to get hacked for sure. Guarantee it. People are going to lose money. And people are going to be crying out, we just need one digital dollar. We just need one. Hey, here's a CBDC, nice and hot on a platter for you. I guarantee it. we're going to have a CBDC within the next 10 years, maybe sooner, maybe a little more, because these things take time. Like, we have to give people enough time to feel pain enough to where it's unbearable, right? When you're working out and you get to rep 10, you can probably still push out 3, 4 more, right? They're going to max people's pain out so they can be crying for the stablecoin. I can already see it. So all that to say, I think the best gains are in the future, in maybe Q4 this year still, probably. Definitely Q1, Q2, I think. But just with everything that's launching, I didn't even go into everything on this video because I want to keep it short. Just with everything that's launching, how everything's playing out, and interest rates being cut, and global liquidity rising, and not just interest rates here in the United States, in China, Japan, everywhere. We're entering into a quantitative easing period. QT has been over. All right. So it's time to double down. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So that's all I got for you guys. If you got value from this video, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I love every single one of you who tuned in. Take care, trade safe, and don't eat too much turkey. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Peace.